Change your heart, change your life, change the planet.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Van Orden. Today I want to talk about being stuck and why it's so hard to get unstuck. I find that one of the biggest barriers to movement when you're stuck is a need for fairness. When things don't feel fair, we tend to dig our heels in and we get stuck in a loop of, I shouldn't have to do this. Like, why is this my goal? Why am I dealing with this? In other words, it's not fair. The process isn't fair, this step isn't fair, the condition that I'm in isn't fair, the compromise that I have to make isn't fair. My very goal is not fair. I shouldn't have to be doing this. And it's not fun. I don't like it. So why do we get stuck here? Because what reality is giving us is inconsistent with our self-concept or who we imagine ourselves to be. So we spin on this difference, on this gap between the life that we should have or the body that we should have, whatever it is that we're comparing ourselves to, and the reality that we find ourselves in. And from that comparative perspective, it just doesn't look fair. We're looking up at the scoreboard and it's not in our favor. And we feel like we're being taken advantage of, that we're being ganged up on, that our authentic selves are somehow being exploited or suppressed. And therefore, the very solution to what ails us and the steps required to bring it about are part of the problem. Because we have to acknowledge our reality. We have to start working with it. And that reality continually reminds us of the scoreboard. And the steps that we have to take feel like they're a waste of our time. They feel almost like a punishment. It's like detention when you were in school. It's something that you begrudgingly endure while everybody else is playing outside, but you're not happy about it because it's not fair. I shouldn't have to do this while everybody else is having fun. I don't want to do it, and I don't want to like it. I don't want to succeed at it, because if I do, I'm going to feel like a chump. So I seethe in this endless loop of self-righteous indignation rather than actually taking steps and moving myself forward. Does that sound familiar? So what do? What's the solution? How do we get over this feeling of unfairness and actually allow ourselves to move into the space of choosing what is, working with what we've got, rather than resenting it and fighting it, fighting the processes and the steps and the perspectives that are actually going to lead us to a better life? I think that one of the biggest challenges is that our brains are wired to punish. They're wired to look for errors and then punish either ourselves or others. They love retribution, even when it hurts us more than it hurts others. Our brains are built to seek justice regardless of the cost. So what I teach people is that you have this tendency, and inside of this tendency, you're going to be in this virtual abstract narrative where your brain is just going over and over this story. And we believe that we are this singular hero in this story, good or bad. And we fail to see our variability in this perspective. We fail to see that we contain multitudes of attitudes and aptitudes. Our brain is a lot like a house that has many different rooms in it, and each one of the rooms in the house serves a different purpose, and it encourages different behaviors. Like, you wouldn't go to the bathroom in your kitchen. It just wouldn't be a good idea, and there's nothing in the kitchen that suggests that it would be a good idea. It's the same in our head. We have these different rooms. We have these different regions in the brain, and we can move from room to room. But when life feels unfair, we get stuck in one room and we lock ourselves in there and we refuse to come out because nobody gets us. Nobody sees our plight. Nobody takes us seriously. Nobody respects us. It's just not fair and it's not acceptable. So we rail against it. We lock ourselves away in this virtual narrative space where the whole world is out to get us, or our body is out to get us, or we're just useless. And we keep simulating the unfairness of the world on that inner stage. And we forget that it's just a show. It's just one room in our house. It's the entertainment room. One network in the brain. And that anytime we want, we can open that door, turn off the movie, and walk out into another room, into another brain network, and therefore into another state of being, into another perspective. But first, we have to turn the movie off. We have to let go. We have to forgive the world and ourselves for not meeting our expectations, for not living up to our ideals or realizing our dreams. And that's not easy, especially if you haven't realized that you are not the narrative. You're not the story. You're not one person locked in one room. There are many aspects to your being. You have many characters living in your house, in your head, and there are many different roles that you can play in your life. And in these moments of retributive self-sabotage, there's one role that I find really, really helpful, and that is the caretaker role. It's not someone who's on the stage or in the story. It's not a hero. It's just someone that comes after and cleans up the theater. They pick up the popcorn, or they take care of all the different rooms in your house, in your being. So it's someone that cares about the state of your home, not just what happens in the rooms, but how they look, how they feel. Someone that doesn't keep score. They don't keep track of what was done or not done in the past, and they don't keep track of who did it. They just keep cleaning up mess after mess, taking step after step, and all they care about is that they make this moment a little bit better, a little bit cleaner, a little bit freer. This is the part of you that doesn't resent but finds value in the present. Someone who simply sees that there's a task that needs to be done and they have a desire to do it and to do it well. It's not someone that measures, but simply someone who takes pleasure and looks for treasure and that which seems really trivial and unfair to the other parts of us that are suffering. So this is a character in you that gladly accepts the role they've been given. They don't resent it. They don't say it's unfair. They don't look at how many times they've been assigned this position. They just do it. They don't keep track. They keep you on track. They're not someone that looks down on you, but instead someone that looks down for you at the steps that need to be taken. And that person is a part of you. And you just need to get in the practice of knocking on their door, waking them up, and then seeing the world through their eyes rather than through your eye, your identity, your tragic hero that nobody gets. All right. I hope there's some value there for you. Let me know in the comments below if you've dealt with something like this. I know many of you have. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like this channel, subscribe. Click the bell to make sure you get the updates. And if you want to keep this channel healthy, come on over to Patreon. It doesn't take much, $1 or $2 a month, and you keep me in this conversation. All right? Greatly, greatly appreciative. Thanks. Bye.